Well, hello, Jim. Welcome back to Max and Ollie's Party Rental Podcast.
Well, hello, Riley.
How are you?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm very well. We have another excellent episode here. Tonight's topic is party. Simple as that. How are you throwing a party? What are the four main criteria that you have to ensure are perfect to have a quality party?
All right, so let's go ahead and let me jump in and interrupt you for a second because I think there's a lot more than four. Okay. So, but let's in this episode let's cover the four main items that we want to think about throwing a party, and then in later episodes we'll go ahead and we'll try to kind of dive down into the details.
Definitely.
All right. So you selected the area, so you know where you're throwing the party. And you're throwing an outside party. So we want to make sure that we have adequate, shelter. If you got a backyard patio and, or a backyard porch, things like that, then you should have this already covered. Mm-hmm. But if you don't, you really want to consider picking up a tent.
Right.
Something simple, 20 by 20. Maybe a couple 10 by 10s, just something to get people out of the sun because, you middle of July.
Yep. Warm July day.
Yep. You got grandpa sitting there. You got grandma.
Yep.
You got mom, dad,
Yep. Keep your guests out of the sun. 100%.
It'll definitely help.
As well as in that same category, make sure that there's ample seating.
Yeah, right. So
for that same point, Grandpa is over standing in the corner and he's about to pass out from heat exhaustion. Got to have somewhere to sit.
And one of the things that you may not realize about outdoors or about seating, so you can go to the the Home Depot or you can go to Lowe's and you can pick up some chairs. Mm-hmm. But those chairs have four pointy legs, okay? And so what happens is, if the ground's a little wet, those four legs will go ahead and get jammed into the ground and they'll suction to it and the chairs will be uneven. So if you're looking to rent chairs, there's a bar on the bottom of the chairs on the back side, so it takes the weight and it distributes the weight across evenly, and then that way the chairs don't sink into the ground. So,
interesting.
Yeah, just a small little nugget of the chairs, and then tables are tables. There's not a whole lot that you can do, but you want to make sure that when you set your tables up that you keep them level.
Right. Let's call this the infrastructure of the party.
Okay, that's good. Good call.
Yeah, infrastructure is a must.
So
for all the reasons you had just mentioned.
Yeah, so you've got your tents now, you got some tables, you got some chairs, places for people to sit. And make sure you want to have tables for your next category, which is going to be your food. Yep.
Food is super important.
Right. So I made a mistake one time. We were throwing a party, and I was thinking to myself, I want to cook for my guests and serve my guests. Right. And so the theory was, I thought it was just brilliant because it was just a way of really giving back. The terrible part of that was I spent like 2 hours at the grill making burgers and dogs and sausage and all sorts. I mean, it was really good.
Oh, it was delicious.
Yeah, but
it was very delicious.
I didn't get a chance to talk to anybody.
Yeah.
And people were there and, they had other places to go. So they dropped in, they left. And so it was fun, but it was a little bit more than I bit off a little bit more than I could chew.
Right. So. And, you can't. At that point, you're stuck to it. You're handcuffed to the grill because now you have a whole lot of people there looking for something to eat, and the only way they're getting food is if you're whipping it up.
Yeah, if you're cooking it.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know, there were quite a few people there, and so definitely a party failure for me.
Yeah, whether or not it's, from one extreme, from like catering down to just grabbing a bunch of pizzas, just making sure that there's something there.
Right, because you've got so many other things to do to entertain your guests. Mm-hmm. To lock, like you said, handcuff yourself to the grill or lock yourself into something. It was a fail on my part. So maybe anybody, somebody's watching this, they can take a little bit of advice from our experience. So yeah, like pizzas or
definitely,
fried chicken, just something easy, because you got so many other things.
Yep. As well, just piggybacking off of the food, making sure that there's ample beverages as well.
Yep.
whatever those beverages may be, as long as there is some sort of beverage.
Yeah, and make sure you're calculating. Let's just say 2 bottles of water for every guest.
Right, and that might be even a low
That might
estimate.
be, it could be light, or 2 cans of soda per guest, and you can calc all this stuff out to really see how many you should have on hand.
But also making sure that you have extra, because like you said, back to that sunny July day, you don't want Grandpa having a heat stroke.
Yeah, right, and yeah, or you don't want to have a heat. I don't want to have a heat stroke
either.
And we're diving into details now, but. That'll be for the next podcast.
Yep. Because food and beverage. Making sure that's covered.
So, and then obviously, what do you need next?
Number 3, music. Make sure you have your music covered.
Yeah. So, you got a backyard party going, and you got 40, 50, 60 people.
Before we narrowed it down to 3.
Yeah.
I think 3 is. These 3 options are kind of the only options really when it comes to music. Either a live band. Probably the most costly, the most space.
Yeah.
Biggest sort of party there. Next, a DJ. DJs are always great. DJ equipment, maybe just speakers of that size. And then coming up in 3rd place, just sort of a speaker.
Like a Bluetooth, like a little
like
Bose, little Google Home.
Yep, something that gets music in the air.
Right.
That's all you need. You don't need a live band in your backyard going nuts. You really do only need some sort of tiny speaker, and that could be it.
Yeah, you really should have something. Mm-hmm. And even if you just go on a Pandora or a YouTube Music or an Apple Music or just some sort of playlist and with some sort of, hits genre or something silly. Yep. What we noticed when we first got into the business, we would have some big events and we would be sitting there for hours and hours and hours, and we noticed that the dead silence was almost deafening. That as soon as we started bringing DJ speakers and just putting playlists on, we found that the party, it just felt like a party atmosphere.
Right. It gives it a different feel.
And it doesn't, 100%. You don't have to go crazy. Like I said, a Bluetooth speaker, I think they sell a pretty decent one at BJ's or at Costco.
Yeah, you can get one anywhere. Yeah. At today you can get one for pretty good value.
Yeah, and they got great sound quality.
Yeah, they're pretty solid. Yeah.
So, and then obviously the last one, you're gonna want to entertain your kids.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Not even just your kids though. Entertain yourself. Entertainment is a big. Once again, these are the big 4 for us, and this is definitely on the list.
Yeah. So for the kids, you want something for them to do other than running around your house. So that a regular 15 by 15 moon bounce is just a traditional perfect place, and they're just bouncing and they're just playing and running around the entire time. So it gives them something
hours
to do.
On end.
Yeah, so it gives mom and dad and all your guests a break. They can sit and entertain and watch themselves. And then the other thing is like
couple it with some games.
Yeah,
cornhole. Yard pong, that's what it's called.
Yep. And if you want to get a little creative, you can put that tournament, a cornhole tournament together.
There you go.
And put some teams and winner.
Right.
Little prize.
Something casual to keep the competition's always great during a party.
Yeah,
get the guests rowdied up. Make them fight for something.
It's fun. And so I guess they're our top 4.
Yeah, the main
things
categories
you should think about, and we'll dive into the details here a little bit later. But for right now, just hopefully it gave you something to think about when you're getting ready to throw your party this coming summer.
Definitely, party season's right around the corner.
We're looking forward to it. it was cold here today.
We got a breath of fresh air, but it went right back to sub 30.
So
way too cold.
A little bit of food for thoughts.
Yep, definitely.
And with that,
my name is Riley.
And I am Jim.
This is the Max and Ollies Party Rental Podcast.
And thanks everybody for watching.
We'll see you guys in the next one.